Good morning, everybody. I'm Joe Mizzi. I'm the past president of the Michigan Paint Horse Club, and I'm here today with Amber Duckett, who is the owner of One and Only Asset, a beautiful Toby.
Hey.
Hi, Amber.
Hi.
So he's a beautiful stallion. He's a young stallion too, and very, very pretty horse. And he's participating in the Michigan Fall Color Classic Stallion Futurity. So Amber, thank you again on behalf of the club for supporting our program. We really appreciate it.
Hey, thank you so much. I appreciate being a part of it. So thank you very much.
So tell me a little bit about your stallion. What's his barn name?
So I call him Marshall. He came with that. I bought him from a wonderful lady when he was a weanling, and he came with the name Marshall, and I loved it. So we called him Marshall.
And how big is he?
He's a solid 15.3. He string tested as a baby to 16.1. But I think just due to him being a stallion, he probably isn't going to reach 16.1, but he's a solid 15.3.
And he's bred to be more or less an all-arounder, isn't that correct?
He is, yeah. He has some great, like Sacred Asset was a great all-around horse. He goes back to Special Invitation. He's got some great quarter horse bloodlines, so he's bred to be a great all-around, and he's already proven that time and time again, even just as a 3-year-old. But yeah, he does English and Western. We've been doing trail and Western riding during this pandemic. We've found some new things to do, and then of course halter. So yeah, he does the all around really, really well. He's kind of how it's written in the book, form to function, which is why he does so well in halter as well, as he's put together so perfectly that everything is easy for him. It's easy for him to lift in place, and it's easy for him to move around because he was built that way, and his breeding supports that.
Yeah, I was looking at his bloodline before we did the call today, just to prepare for the call, and his papers look like a who's who of the pleasure horse industry. I mean, you've got everything on there from invitation only to Jaguar. You've got paint horses like Paint Me Zippo. Like you mentioned, Sacred Indian. You got a lot of really nice horses on there. And then Investment Asset, who's a Hall of Famer on the quarter horse side, is on his papers too. And Invitation Only is a Hall of Famer. You got a lot of ways you can go with him.
Right, for sure. And that was one of the things which drew me to him when I first found him. I mean, you can only bet so much when you're looking at a weanling, but when I looked at those papers, I thought, man, that's a pretty good bet right there that he's going to be something special.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely has a lot of great who's on both the quarter horse and the paint side.
And is he a 5-panel negative stallion?
So he is 5-panel negative. He's actually 6-panel negative, and he's also now 7-panel negative. He's tested for the, I believe it's IMM. It's that new, I think it's a muscle thing that's coming out, and he's tested negative for that as well. He's also tested, we do our testing through Edelon, and they do a great job, and he's also tested negative. They have this whole extra panel of just genetic health tests. And you go through it, and he is NN for every single one of those. It goes to immune stuff. It goes to reproductive stuff. It goes to tons of other just random genetic testing that they will do. And he is, he's NN for all of that, which is super exciting when you've got a mare that you're not quite sure, or maybe she has a tendency to do this, or it's kind of a good thing to have that on there. As all these other, I'm just looking through right now, neurological disorders, he's NN for those, reproductive disorders, he's NN for all of those, skin disorders, NN, I mean, just tons of just other things. It's just, I looked through it, I was super tickled when I got those results back, like, wow, not only the essentials of the 6-panel, we're throwing on a 7th, and then just all these other things that, nothing's a sure bet, but it's fun to have that to back your guess, I guess.
And is he homozygous for Tobiano?
He's homozygous Tobiano, so he will always produce a regular registry paint.
Okay.
And he is he's homozygous for the, I'm going to totally butcher it, but it's the agouti gene.
Yep.
And then he's heterozygous black. So he does have one red variant, so he can produce a red. But yeah, he's homozygous Tobiano.
So you'll always
produce.
Always get color.
Yep. We had one. Our very first baby of 2020 was an extremely minimal Tobiano. I think it finally got its white on its hocks, but it was great. It was one of those things you just think, well, it's going to be a Tobiano no matter what, and it was extremely minimal, but it works. It's always great. It's great when they come out knowing that you're going to have the color you need.
Yeah, exactly. So speaking of babies, what can you tell us a little bit? He's got some babies on the ground now, so tell us a little bit about the characteristic that he's most likely to pass on to his offspring.
So some of the things that he's passed on, which we had two babies. So I have two, I guess they're now 2-year-olds by him, and they were just two of my mares that I bred, making sure plumbing worked and everything like that. And I was like, man, I really lucked out on these two. They're both super cute, way kind, way quiet, really easy to, tool around with as weanlings. And I loved how they matured and stuff. I thought, man, I really lucked out on these two. And then now we have his 2020 full crop on the ground, which is really just a test crop. I think there was 8. I think he has 10 babies on the ground altogether. And as they keep coming out, I'm like, wow, that one's cute too. Maybe it wasn't just me that got lucky. Like, oh, look at that one. And that one's got a great head. And look at the body on that one. And then as people are working with these babies, they're letting me know, like, oh my gosh, this one just did this. My shoer just told me that babies don't come out this quiet. What's going on? And we had one that had a pre-purchase exam, and he's out flexing. The vet's out flexing this baby in the middle of 10 other horses getting flexed, and the vet looks at me and he's holding his foot up and he's like, babies don't do this. They're not this quiet. And so I think one of the biggest things that he's passing on is his quiet, easy, trainable demeanor. They don't have a lot of no in them. They don't have a lot of, I don't really want to do that. They're like, okay, hey, let's do that, which is just like Marshall. I get him out of the stall every day and he's like, yes, let's do something today. What are we going to do? And that's what I'm seeing on his babies is, hey, that sounds fun. Let's try that. And then the other thing that he's throwing on the ground, which is super evident as these babies, as this 2020 full crop is now yearlings, I guess, is the correctness. Their top lines, they're very level. They're coming out super level. You don't have these downhill babies. You don't have this gawky stage. I feel super confident if anybody was to come out to my barn and look at the babies I have any time of year, that they'd be like, whoa, that's a good looking baby. I have yet to see awkward, like the 7-month stage where you're like, okay, just put that in the back pasture till it levels out or something like that. I find that they just get better and better with age. And then I guess just to top it off, they're great movers. They're just super pretty. I've crossed of my own, we had some old ranch mare that's my husband's, and it's just a ranch horse, but it's so funny because that baby is a wicked nice mover. And he chases cows really well too. But I just think like our plug on him is he's an asset to any program, and he really is. He's really pulling out the best of the mare and throwing his cherry on top, and that's looks and movement and correctness, just their form to function. When horses are built uphill or horses are built level, it's easy for them to do the job that they're asked. And that's what I'm finding that Marshall is putting on his babies, is just correctness and pretty heads, pretty necks. So there you go. That's what he's throwing so far. And I am super excited for this next full crop that's coming, as well as the fantastic mares and owners that we have booked for 2021 already. And I'm just way excited for that and the people that are owning these babies. I couldn't be more happy.
How many do you think you'll get this year? How many babies do you think you'll have this year?
So we have about 40 coming in 2021.
Good for you.
And then thank you. We're way excited about it. And then we're going to limit his book for for breeding 2021. We're going to keep his book limited. We want to keep the value of his foals up as far as for people breeding to him and buying to him. And then we're going to take him back out to the show pen. And so we need to kind of limit his book a little bit and keep that going.
And what mare lines do you find people are using to cross on him? Is it a little bit of everything, or are there specific mares that are crossing on him, specific bloodlines?
Yeah, so we have, just because we only have really, 10 on the ground to choose from, I guess, we've had, it's actually really funny. I've loved every single one of them. I could plus every single one of them. I had 2 babies this year that I really, really, really loved. A good asset, of my own personal ones I got to see in hand. I had a really good asset baby and a really good, granddaughter of Impulsions. But we've also got some invitation only. There's a paint out in New Hampshire. It's an invitation only, and he's fantastic. Spitting image of Marshall. We've got a No Doubt I'm Lazy, Only in the Moonlight baby that is just gorgeous. And so, to say which crosses, I'm not sure. I'm really loving all of them.
Yeah, there you go.
We've got some fun ones coming. We've got some Zippo Sensation, which I'm excited to see. Zippo Sensation is a phenomenal paint stallion, obviously, and I'm excited to see that cross. We've got some RL Best of Suns, some Zippo's Mr. Good bars coming. I'm super excited to see how those come out. It's interesting. I have here at home, I have a hunt seat mare, and those babies are coming out all arounds, like super good all arounds with with bordering on the hunt seat side. And then I've got some more westerny mares, and those babies, I watch them go and I think, but you're still going to be able to, you're going to tighten it up for western, super nice, but I bet you can still go out there and do great in an egg pattern or an on the rail and hunter. And so I can't say we have enough on the ground to really say this cross is knocking it out of the ballpark.
It sounds like you'll have that opportunity though if you keep breeding that many horses. Good for you.
Oh, for sure. I'm way excited with what we've got coming, and even the people. I'm way excited about the homes that these babies are going to. They just seem as excited about it as I am, and just really good homes, people that are going to take these babies out and show them to the world, show them how cool they are at local levels, at world levels. And I think that's what Marshall, that's what I'd hoped for Marshall. I'd hoped for something that could pertain to, the do it at home youth that really wants a baby to learn and grow with, all the way to the world, multiple world champion exhibitor that wants another world champion. And I guess that was my hope for him. That's a lot where I started and worked my way up through. And when I found Marshall, and I thought, we're going to do it again, and we're going to help those people come from the bottom and go all the way to the top.
Good for you.
And that's kind of was my hope and plan. And I'm super excited to see it. It's been fun. It's just been really fun talking to the people and the people that are breeding them, and on what their hopes and dreams are. And it's super exciting.
Yeah, your enthusiasm is evident just from talking about them. That's a great thing. You gotta believe in your stallion. That's a big part of it. So,
yeah, I do. I completely believe in him and the team behind him, and the people behind him that are just rooting him on. It's very touching to me, and it's very exciting for those people that have babies on the ground and that are looking for babies. It's just super exciting, and I keep in touch with his breeder, and she's a wonderful lady, and it's fun to have her support as well.
And he was bred here in Michigan, correct?
He was, yeah, yep. Judy Van Dyke bred him.
Yep.
And that's who I purchased him from. I found him off of, I think he was 2 or 3 months old in a video, and I really wasn't looking for I'm a trainer. I don't need a weanling. Those sit on the back burner until they're 10,
Yeah.
But man, I kept going back to his video, and I thought, A, I don't need a weanling, and B, I sure as heck don't need a stallion, but he's pretty dang cute. And maybe, maybe I'll see what we can do with it. And I just kept going back to him, and I thought, well, that's all right, fine. Fine.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's always a lot of fun when they turn out the way that you hope. That's great.
Yeah, for sure it is.
So is there anything else you want to share about him before we finish up? Does he have any cute habits or anything that,
Oh, Yes, so he's funny. He's pretty dramatic, and he moans and groans a lot. Like, so many times we've gone to horse shows, and I'll actually get a call like, "Hey, your stallion's colicking or something." I'm like, "Oh no, he's just moaning. He's snoring. He takes resting super seriously, and he snores." I have so many videos of him just snoring. When he rolls, people are like, "What is that?" I'm like, "Oh, it's just Marshall rolling," and he moans and groans, and he just, and it's funny, if I say, "Hey, hey, you be a good boy," or "Hey, it's not time to breed right now." He kind of moans about it, like, "Oh my gosh." You're so overly dramatic.
They all have personalities, don't they? It's unbelievable.
He does. And he's just fun. Like I think I said earlier, like he's super fun to pull out of the stall, and he's just excited about what are we going to do that day. And if I want, if I'm working on stuff, I'm a trainer, and I do a lot of things, and I'm weaker at some events than others, and it's kind of fun with him because I feel like I can kind of mess up a little bit until I can get it perfect, and he's right there with me like, okay, oh, I get it. He's not like, "Oh my gosh, get it together already, lady. We're trying to figure something out." Like I love his attitude and his ability to just keep going, like keep rolling with the punches. We'll get it figured out eventually. And he's just happy to come out and do it again.
So Amber, if people want to get in touch with you regarding breeding to Marshall, beyond the Futurity, he's still available, as I understand it, for this year's Futurity. So if anyone is interested, they can buy him through the Futurity website at a discounted price. But he sold last year, so you'll have a baby that'll be eligible for the Futurity, as a result of that breeding. But anyway, if people want to get in touch with you, what's the best way for them to reach you about other breeding opportunities to Marshall?
So they can go onto his Facebook page, One and Only Asset, and they can private message through that. They can call me if they would like. And I think my number's on there. They can email me. I have a great friend that does fantastic on my internet side. Sometimes I just don't have a lot of time to respond a bunch. And Megan does a great job helping me respond to people and getting information out. Computers and I are not best friends. And so she helps out a lot with that. Sometimes I get a little confused on some of that.
No, she was great working to set up this interview.
Yes, she's fantastic. She helps me out a ton, a huge lifesaver. And so people can get in touch with her. If you have like personal questions about Marshall, you're more than welcome. People are more than welcome to call me, to email me, all that kind of stuff. I love hearing about things and about matches and about why people want to breed to him. It's super fun. It's just all, I guess it's all part of the program, and I love it.
All right.
And so, yeah.
No, I was going to say thank you. That we're going to wrap it up here in a minute, but okay. I want to say thank you so much for taking the time to talk about him. It's fun to see a young, exciting stallion like this come onto the scene, and it sounds it sounds like you're doing great things with him. So this is fantastic, and we truly, on behalf of the club, we truly appreciate your support in our Futurity